Hackers managed to obtain personal information and nude photos of actress Leslie Jones and then proceeded to hack into her website and post said images and personal information. According to the New York Times, the hackers inserted a picture of the gorilla Harambe on the site and exposed what appeared to be explicit photos of the actress, along with pictures of her driver's license and a passport. Now, so far, there hasn't been any comment from Leslie Jones or her representatives, but what we do know is that the information, the personal information that's been posted is consistent with some of the public information that's out there. And it's problematic because, of course, it gives people the ability to steal her identity and make her life a living hell. And of course, there's the extra layer of the nude photos as well. We don't know how they got their hands on this information or this content, but we know that they did this to her website and her representatives shortly took the website down.
Okay, that's interesting because yesterday we did a story about racist memes about Harambe. And we were told by some folks on the internet that, oh, you guys are so humorless, you don't understand that racist memes about Harambe are actually not racist. They're the opposite of racist.
Right.
They're meant to deconstruct racism or something along those lines. But what would I know? I'm a simpleton. And so now they take this person, Leslie Jones, who they've attacked before in racist ways, and they put Harambe as her picture. But I'm sure that that is not racist. I'm sure that's the opposite of racist.
Yeah, look, let's keep it real, okay? This whole movement online, on social media, these so-called alt-right individuals, the people who go on and on about regressives, the people who go on and on about social justice warriors, they're sorry, hateful human beings. And they want to be able to go online and say bigoted crap about Muslims, about black people, about anyone who's not a skinhead white person, right? And then when anyone criticizes them, oh my God, it's free speech. Why are you calling me racist? You're just trying to shut me down. You're trying to shut me up. You're trying to censor me. That's what you're doing. You're just calling me racist or a bigot so I don't speak. No, you're not in favor of free speech, okay? You're a clown. You want to be racist, and you don't want to face any of the consequences or the criticisms that come along with it. And by the way, regarding the First Amendment, please, for the love of God, read the Constitution and understand what the First Amendment means, okay? Twitter shutting you down is not violating your First Amendment rights. The government shutting you down is violating your First Amendment rights. Stop being such a fucking idiot.
So, ironically, they love to be the victims, right?
Love it, love it.
You can't criticize me, I have freedom of speech. Yeah, but wait a minute, so do we.
Yep.
So, yeah, you have the freedom of speech to be a racist. That doesn't mean that the Constitution gives you a halo where you're not allowed to be criticized. What, do you need a safe space? Have you been triggered? Okay, so the reality is, yes, you're allowed to say racist thing. It's a free country, that's true. And we're allowed to call you racist when you do that.
You've been pretty mean through the years on Twitter.
I've been pretty mean through the years on Twitter, but I don't think that's a reason to excise somebody from the platform. You know, actually, plenty of people enjoy what I do. Over 380,000 of them, as you say, enjoy what I do. And there's certainly no suggestion whatsoever that I was involved in any kind of racist or sexist harassment of Leslie Jones. What I did was dislike her movie and write a very critical review that she didn't like. After that, I teased her a little on Twitter. If a journalist can't tease a Hollywood blockbuster actress, I don't know what this platform is about. You know, it's a very
You saw what all many of your followers, not all, but many of your followers started to attack her as well. I mean, some of those things were brutal. Wouldn't you acknowledge?
Yes, of course. And some of them were completely disgusting. But I'm not responsible for what other people post on the internet. Is Justin Bieber responsible when his fans cut themselves with the hashtag #CutForBieber? Is Beyonce responsible when her fans go after One Directioners with death threats and rape threats? Of course not. It's preposterous to suggest that a public figure, an entertainment personality, or a prominent journalist is responsible for what other people post on the internet.
Let me read to you what you wrote in 2012 at the Kernel.
Sure.
It was a longer piece. The internet is not a universal human right. We ban drunks from driving because they're a danger to others. Isn't it time we did the same to trolls? Trolls, for our viewers who don't know, are how people refer to people like you who are mean on Twitter. Which there are very many
people like meanness.
You wrote this, right?
No, of
Is
course.
this what happened? You don't agree with this anymore?
No, I agree with it entirely. You know, Twitter is a private company. It's entitled to do what it likes. The problem is it's lying to users. Jack Dorsey says that it's the free speech wing of the free speech platform, the free speech wing of the free speech party, that he wants it to be a utility like water, that Twitter is the place you go if you want to express yourself. That's a lie. There is a systematic campaign against conservative and libertarian points of view on Twitter. And how do we know this? Not from the company's own notoriously opaque statements, but from the fact that they apply their own rules so capriciously and so inconsistently that there is only one possible explanation. Twitter is perfectly happy to host ISIS, to host death threats against Donald Trump supporters, and they do nothing in any of these cases. Not hard enough. But you make a joke about a feminist, or you dislike the new Ghostbusters movie, or you have the audacity to dislike the work in, in Hollywood of somebody who happens to be black or happens to be a woman, and then you get suspended.
Let me read you what Twitter says. We had a guest on from Twitter earlier this morning who spoke about this. We also have just statements and policies are available on their website. Our rules prohibit inciting or engaging in the targeted abuse or harassment of others. Over the past 48 hours in particular, we've seen an uptick in the number of accounts violating these policies and have taken enforcement actions against these accounts, ranging from warnings that also require the deletion of tweets violating our policies to permanent suspension.
There's absolutely no evidence whatsoever, and Twitter has produced none, that I'm in any way responsible for inciting harassment against somebody else. It's just an absurd claim, and there's no proof of it. What there is proof of is that Leslie Jones did not like my review, that I teased Leslie Jones a little bit on Twitter. Well, so sue me. I mean, what's the big deal?
But
no big deal. People do that kind of thing all the time. The reason they came for me is I have been public enemy #1 for Twitter for a very long time.
Suddenly it seems the entire country is talking about the alt-right, so I guess it's our turn as well. For those of you who are attuned to the wacky, wild underside of the internet, you know that the alt-right has existed for a couple of years now, but it's only in the last few days that the mainstream has started talking about it. Last week, Hillary Clinton attacked the alt-right in a big speech, which led to coverage in every newspaper and online outlet across the globe. Hillary blamed Breitbart.com for mainstreaming racism, which she said was proven by Trump's embrace of the alt-right. CNN and Fox News both aired clips from the Rubin Report in which Milo Yiannopoulos talked about the alt-right, explaining it as a counterculture movement uniting disaffected conservatives with mischievous internet meme makers.
Milo Yiannopoulos has become a face of the movement through social media stunts, though he's now been banned from Twitter. He is cheering on Trump.
He represents the best hope we have of smashing political correctness apart, of breaking open, all of the taboos, stuff you're not supposed to say, allowing real debate to be had again.
The usual pundits suddenly were all experts on the alt-right, even though they didn't know what it was while it was growing right before their eyes this whole time. Our outrage culture always needs some new outrage to be outraged about, and once Hillary mentioned the alt-right by name, it meant the movement had officially arrived. The alt-right seems to take many different forms depending on who you talk to. Mainstream media and pretty much the entire left brand the alt-right as a white supremacist movement rallying around Donald Trump. Their members hate blacks, they hate Jews, they hate Hispanics, and they want some sort of racially pure country to stop white genocide. Mainstream Republicans see the alt-right as a group of loudmouthed offensive racists who are tearing the conservative movement apart by throwing away traditional conservative ideals like small government and replacing them with a win-at-all-cost candidate. Others say the alt-right is a grassroots movement born out of natural pushback to our increasingly political correct society. I think if you mix some of those explanations together, you get what the alt-right really is, but you have to add one more thing: the internet. The alt-right, whatever version of it you claim to be, was created right here on the internet. And as something created by the internet, it is as amorphous as the internet itself. What the alt-right really is, though, is a band of meme posters, anime avatars, and Twitter eggs vying for attention from people in power. They post Nazi memes, racist pictures, and offensive tweets with the express intent of getting powerful people to react or respond and thus amplify their message. They are keyboard warriors and professional trolls trying to get attention from the sold-out and corrupt media and political elite that we have. The real alt-right isn't about one political ideology as much as it is a loosely linked group of people using the tools of the internet to upset the establishment. Ironically, in some ways, this wrangling and mocking of the establishment is exactly what the Bernie revolution was supposed to be. But while Hillary put Bernie's revolution on ice, she has now elevated the alt-right to mainstream status by giving a big speech about it. The alt-right wants attention more than anything, and they trolled her into giving them exactly what they want. Let me back up here for a sec, because I don't want to gloss over that whole white supremacist, hate the blacks, hate the Jews, kick out the Hispanics thing. This portion of the alt-right absolutely does exist. I see it on Twitter every single day. You can pause this video right now and find thousands of images, including Nazi imagery, racist caricatures of minorities, and plenty more. Do a quick search on Twitter, a scan on Reddit, or a look at 4chan, and you'll see some pretty nasty stuff. I don't like it, but you guys know my policy on free speech and free expression, so I choose to ignore these images and ideas rather than amplify them. The real question, though, is do these truly hateful racist memes and tweets represent a real movement of hate, or are they designed just to get attention? I think it's some combination of both. Some true racists mixed with a bunch of people who just want to mess with those in power. How many of each of them are there? We have no idea. What we do know, though, is that these people wield very little real-world power. Do white supremacists exist? Yeah. Do black, Jew, and Hispanic haters exist? Yeah, they do. Do some people want to keep immigrants out because of racism? Yes. But the people who make up the alt-right aren't the ones with the power. Instead, they are the ones trying to upset the people in power. And as for Donald Trump, he has blacks and Jews and Hispanics on his campaign staff. This doesn't mean there aren't racist supporters of Trump. Of course there are, just as there are racist supporters of Hillary and everyone else to ever run for president ever. Trump's blunt language, which has attacked almost every group out there, often blurring the line between being politically incorrect and truly hateful, is just an extension of the tactics that the alt-right keyboard warriors are doing on their own. Personally, I think that the regressive left is more of a threat to our democracy than the alt-right. The regressive left, with its tactics of stifling debate and silencing critics, has gained mainstream traction in our media and in our universities. These regressive, not progressive ideas have become all too common on the left, and they've actually given birth to the natural response, the alt-right. I know this firsthand, not only from the emails that you guys send me, but also from all the students at UCLA who came up to me after my event with Milo Yiannopoulos a couple months ago to tell me that they're supporting Trump just because they can't take the culture of fear around speech anymore. The alt-right, with its Trump frogs and Photoshop pictures of sick Hillary, is little more than a bunch of guys in their basements using outrage culture against itself. Most of us are not part of the regressive left or the alt-right. This is precisely why we must talk about ideas honestly and not let the extremes on either side control the debate. As I've said many times before, Trump's wall might not be sensible or sound policy, but a wall in and of itself is not racist. If we refuse to have a conversation about immigration without yelling racist at everyone who disagrees with us, then we'll leave the conversation to anyone who comes up with an easy answer. Trump's wall is the easy answer to a complex immigration problem, and it's one of the reasons that the alt-right loves him. The alt-right is the organic result of a politically correct society that refuses to engage in ideas in an honest way. That doesn't mean the alt-right is right. It just means that they're here, and to demonize them without understanding them doesn't stop them, it actually strengthens them.